misilo ko ndano sifa men kendele ama o ke hada madin karmini asabu mbatata masila kendo so nata silo so otomala tentu balati afile sa kuran lota silo be diare do ko nelbe fanuru do be fanuru adama baro la masaya ntole manyo masaya no soto
wakabin silo digar jam musol fana nako ko ilo silo warta go dubo kilala ko mun fe ko det nana lawje go ni na buka mo solo plika sey pasa kilala ko sware kana go fengol san prouver que waka an ko mi fana lafa de ko kuran fana na jam ay kudo lafa ko mo glace do fitu do bakam kuran nada glace o tendencies 20 dances aman sila ko tele no man ke ni silo ni musila kuma balet ni silo kaboja kata gine bisaw kata kasamas kata la gina bele be tamaka ni silo la ntela ni sato kabri ni silo ketate isamira mbe kombole ay traffico soni andi back ay tani na soni andi back munto paso ka jom na sanya talate male baatu ndar lañ dëkk fa baatu ndar ne fofu lañu bawa di dem gawe gis nga guy yele fofu lañ daan jaar di dem ci gawe bi xeer li tang witt waaye fan yi rek ñu mos yoon bu bees bi buñ ko mosé ba tey dañuy dem te duñ sonn dañuy dëpp te duñ sonn te ñun jigéen ñi ñoo gën a xam yoon bi njëriñam parce que ñun ñooy biir ñooy am doom ñooy boot doom yi dem hôpital coono bi yëpp ñun ñoo ko xamee kon soo leen defal yi ñun jigéen ñi Gambie ñun ngeen ko defal
ñun to ka assez soto pour ka nan to la jang akole ata ba kan ko mo ni la sen fe do ku muso la nakulu fewolu e ka tala e karo si bul jang ay loku si bul jang al sa ni mo wona ta me alon ka kasi tol bul a sanda men to don a kasa mbol to wonu fam instantly so wo mu nyaato ta balati me alon ko banko multi ila kontano fam fodo lawto
de lakole apo adama baro lota nyeje wala mu yinsiro la kota na adama baro bida man sintelen si mando
tranga ji moy yoon wi tranga ji nak nek na lo xamni yag nañ ko joy yag nañ ko ut mu nekkon suñu jafe-jafe parce que nguuri fi romba yépp joytul nañ leen ko ndeg yoon boo xam ne la mun naa wax ne ñu bari ñoo ko njëriñoo
coono amoon nañ coono bu métti parce que balaa ñu doon dem ci amee suñ foofu amee bugg a am doom ñu yóbbu la kerewaan balaa nga oja kerewaan mën nga am doom si yoon bi
ñin silom sila kuma palet kilomita kononto abe data la banta sayin min tuta je wolon ka silo ñing ka mako ka bala isaje modol min ka bol bulbani marala momoy sale ñanta dunna dami Badibu Njaba Kunda Salikenya Road is 17 kilometers overall. We are today at 70% of actual works being done. And this is a remarkable progress. As you remember, we came here some 2 months ago, and it was a big fight here because we were not very pleased with the progress of work.
On this particular tour, we haven't really encountered much issues because previous times we've had a heck of a lot more issues. And Honorable was diligent enough and virtually steadfast in his recommendation and suggestion to the contractor that we needed a good quality product to be delivered. And that's what the contractors have done. That's the reason why on this visit we haven't really seen much issues. Now, there has been, I couldn't even call them dissatisfactions.
One or two.
Yeah, just 1 or 2 issues that he really had to address. But most of it, we didn't have much issues this time around because, we've been talking to the contractors and then really setting the tone, getting them to understand what we expect of them, and also making it very clear to them that if they had any issues, they didn't need to come to us. It'll be technical or financial, we can help. And a lot of them have been really taking advantage of that, understanding that we have the capacity and the capability to help them at all levels. And thus far, it's yielding some very good results. And we're really pleased with the progress of work at this point.
Real mini alon ko nun mosa kono femman taraje sai nun to won dula kirimarin ballati bari selol bi ka dumnoje kuje ma fanana ta sey ko mod la ko da president baro ko sai wole wuli isaje julani safaro se sembos ko banko kan alhamdulillah
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, our viewers at home, both in the Gambia and the diaspora. Good evening to the ladies and gentlemen here with us today in this town hall, this Mansa Kunda town hall today at the American International University here in Kanifing. First of all, we would like to extend our appreciation and regards to His Excellency, President Adama Barrow, for his leadership, his wisdom, his foresight, and his vision for this country. Convey here today to have this ministerial town hall called Mansa Kunda. Now, the Ministry of Information has a mandate to ensure that we bring government closer to the people. Our mandate is to ensure that we, in a timely, authentic, we provide timely, authentic, relevant information to the public. That is our mandate at the Ministry of Information. But also to bring information from the public to the government. Therefore, we want to bring government closer to the people by bringing government authorities, agencies, ministries and departments here to discuss with the public. To give the public and tell them what they are doing, their projects, their programs, their activities, but also give the public the chance to ask questions. What are their priorities, what are their aspirations, what are their concerns. That is the only way through which government can now design policies that are responsive to the needs of the citizens. Governments all over the world have to listen to citizens and respond to their needs. That is what they call policy making, which is responsive to the needs of the citizens. Due to our mandate, we are implementing currently what they call the Access to Information Act. The purpose of this act is to, in a proactive manner, disclose information to the public. Why is this important? It is important because it gives the public and the citizens information they need to hold government officials accountable, but also to promote transparency that will in turn help consolidate our democracy. Therefore, at the ministry, we deemed it important to organize this town hall among other activities to ensure that we bring government closer to the people, to provide the citizens with information they need to know exactly what the government is doing. Recently, we realized there was a disconnect between what the government was doing and what the citizens thought the government was doing. This led to a bad misperception about government performance, even though government is performing to the best of its ability, delivering services to the people all across the country from Katong to Koina. Recently, we've seen during the president's tour, he visited industries that people thought never existed in the Gambia, producing products that people thought were imported. He opened 5 health centers, highly equipped, state-of-the-art hospitals in Kiang, in Jokadu, in Badibu, and in Basse. Classrooms in places that never had classrooms before, with full computer labs. So the government is performing, but the citizens now must know that the government is performing. That is why we are organizing this program called Mansa Kunda. The purpose of Mansa Kunda is to bring government here every end of the month on Friday to talk to the citizens. I'm pleased to announce that today we are starting with the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure on a leadership office of the Honorable Minister Ebrima Sillah. With us here today from the ministry and its satellite agencies is the MD of National Roads Authority, Mr. Sanyang. If you can raise your hand so the public can know who Mr. Sanyang is. Thank you. We have the DG of Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, Mr. Bojang. Thank you for coming. We have the GM of Gambia Ferry Services, Mr. Tambedo. Thank you for coming. We have the MD of Gambia Ports Authority, Mr. Jobate. Thank you for coming. And we have the DG of Gambia Maritime Authority, Mr. Jane. Thank you for coming. Also here with us on the podium is the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transport, Work and Infrastructure, Mr. Matar Sise. We will give the Honorable Minister and his team 10-15 minutes to discuss with us what they have done so far since they took over the ministry, what are their plans for the future, how have they spent taxpayers' money, how are they delivering their mandate, but also tell us what their mandate is, so we can be able to judge whether there's a gap between what their mandate is and what they've done so far. After that, we'll take questions from the public here in the gallery, but also questions from the public at home. If you're at home watching, you can send your questions by calling or texting this number, 288-5885. I repeat, if you are home and you are watching and you have a question for the minister and his technical team, you can call or text 288-5885. 288-5885. Honorable Minister of Transport, Works and Industry, Mr. Ebrima Sillah, welcome to the Ministerial Town Hall, Mansa Kunda. It's a privilege here for me to stand here today, the first ever such program organized by the Ministry of Information, for you to come and tell the public what your ministry's mandate is, what you've done so far, what are you currently doing, and what is your vision for the sector, and how this will affect and change the lives of citizens, and how it will also help deliver the National Development Plan, otherwise called the Eurua Plan. Mr. Sillah, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Ismaila Cisse, the Minister of Information, for this laudable initiative, but also for the invitation. We are always good to be first, and I hope that initiative of the government of the Gambia, as he said, as part of our wider objectives to engage the citizenry on our activities and also our plans and programs and sector activities that we have implemented and we are also implementing as part of our mandate to deliver the development initiative of the government. As he rightly said, we are the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, and the mandate of this ministry is to formulate policies related to transport, public works, infrastructure, services and engineering works, to coordinate dialogue with transport and engineering works development partners, to support resource mobilization and budgeting, strategic planning, regulation, advising other ministries on transport and engineering matters, to provide national coordination of transport, public works infrastructure, and services and engineering works in the areas of research, monitoring, and evaluation of the overall sector performance. Our vision is to provide effective, efficient, and safe world-class transport and public works infrastructure in order to meet the needs of the public. Our mission is to support the socio-economic development of the Gambia by assisting in the improvement of the living standards of the Gambian people through realization of an effective, efficient, safe, and fully integrated transport system and public works infrastructure which are responsive to the socio-economic needs of the public. The key functions of the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure are, among others, to formulate and implement appropriate policies and strategies which will promote socio-economic development through improved public works and transport infrastructure and services, to provide technical advice to the government of the Gambia on all matters relating to civil and structural engineering projects. The provision of this advice ensures that the government drives the most cost-effective solution and value from such projects. It's also within the mandate of the ministry to provide planning functions to advise on the feasibility of transport and public works infrastructure and services schemes, and to develop policy guidelines to structure the sector within the framework of the overall national development objective, and also to provide strategic supervision and oversight on the number of semi-autonomous parastatals and organizations in the areas of transport, public works, and infrastructure. We monitor and evaluate the implementation of national policies, plans, and programs for safe and efficient public works, transport, physical infrastructure, and services. The policy and institutional reforms at the ministry. In 2017, the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure launched a high-priority exercise to update the outdated National Transport Plan 1918 to 2006, and also to formulate a policy for public buildings and facilities 2020 to 2030, which up to then never existed. The new National Transport Policy 2018 to 2017 has since been launched and it is operational. Formulation of the new Integrated Transport Master Plan. The ministry is formulating a climate-resilient integrated transport sector master plan for the various modes of transport. And what we mean here is that for the first time in the history of this country, the Gambia will have a policy that will address the integrated modes of transport, including roads, vehicles, trains, railways, but also river transport, as well as aviation. So this master plan, we are happy to announce that we have received the no objection from the African Development Bank, and the feasibility studies are to start very soon so that we can start this initiative. The public buildings and facilities. The role of this particular agency, which is yet to be implemented, but the bill is before the National Assembly. And when that happens, this ministry, as you all know, has already embarked on the construction of governors' offices and residences in key regions of the Gambia, including the Central River region and the Lower River region. We have also constructed markets in Brikama and Basse, the construction and rehabilitation of embassies in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and Brussels. We are also, and when we say Brussels, is the capital of Belgium. We've also renovated government buildings across the country, and we also embark on construction of government buildings. One of the key strategic importance of our ministry's activities is the construction of roads. And I can assure you that since 2018, the government of the Gambia, through the ministry, embarked on an ambitious infrastructure development program, including the Banjul Rehabilitation Project, which is in its final phase of the implementation. And most of you who have been here, you have all seen how dilapidated the streets of Banjul were. And immediately when His Excellency President Adama Barrow assumed office, he made it an important reality to embark on the overall and complete facelift of Banjul by paving all the roads, the drainage, and also the sewage system. Now, for the first time of many decades, all the streets of Banjul are completely paved. Other roads that have been successfully constructed and handed over to the government of the Gambia include the North Bank Lot 1, comprising 51 kilometers implemented in Sabah and James Sanjal, and other areas of the North Bank region directly impacting more than 80,000 people in 21 different communities. The North Bank Lot 2, comprising 48 kilometers, was implemented in 4 different areas in the Salums, also directly impacting more than 100,000 people in excess of 20 communities. The above 2 lots were fully funded by the government of the Gambia. The 50 kilometers of URR Upper River Region Roads and Bridges project was a novel project funded by the People's Republic of China through the China Aid grant to the government that was implemented on time and within budget. This project was handed over since 2021 and cuts across the entire Upper River region, transversing previously unconnected communities with more than 200,000 people being directly impacted by the project. The much talked about Lamenkoto Pasamas Road was constructed and handed over to the Gambia government in 2021. This 121-kilometer stretch navigates through communities in the Central River region and Upper River region in the northern side of the Gambia, connecting to other essential crossing points in both regions, linking the south bank of the country. This project impacts over 200,000 people in the communities where the project was implemented. As part of efforts to connect previously important trading centers, the government of the Gambia, through the National Roads Authority NRA, embarked on road construction projects in different parts of the country, including the North Bank regions from Kerawan to Jawara, which is 9 kilometers, which is now in fact completed, Badibu Jabakunda to Salikenye, and also Bani, which is 17 kilometers, and this road is expected to be completed in July of this year. In the West Coast region, we have started the Gunjur Inside Town Road, which is 4 kilometers, and expected to be completed before the end of this year. We also have the 12-kilometer road from Tujareng to Kunkujan Mariama to Banyakang to Madiana to Burfut, which is 12 kilometers, and it is expected to be completed by the end of this year. The much talk about Hakalang Roads project is already at an advanced stage, with asphalting already past kilometer 30. Works on this stretch is expected to be finished by the end of the year. The Gambia government is also constructing new roads in Lower River region, starting with the Kiang West roads, totaling 87 kilometers, of which 68% is completed with a planned handover date by the end of the year. As part of preparations for the just ended 15th OIC Banjul Summit, the government, with support from its development partners, initiated massive road construction projects in the Greater Banjul area, prominent among which is the 6-lane, 22-kilometer Batil Hardin Highway. The second phase of this project, which starts from Senegambia Junction to Sting Corner, is expected to be completed by end of August 2024, which is this year. The third phase of the project, which will include service roads on either side of the highway and pedestrian crossings, as well as pedestrian bridges, is expected to start before the end of the year. Construction is also ongoing on the 50-kilometer OIC roads in different areas within the Greater Banjul area. These roads include drainage systems, solar street lights, sidewalks for pedestrians, and brand new utility services. And I'm happy that our people from Burfoot are here, and they are one of the biggest beneficiaries of this project. We are also implementing 365 kilometers of new roads that are all tar roads across the country. And Honorable Minister, if you don't mind, I can go through, because this is extremely very important, since the people of this country want to know what their president and his government are doing for them. I would like to read the new stretch of roads that we are building across the Gambia. We divide them into phases. Phase 1, or lot, we divide it into lots. Lot 1 is in URR Basse, which is 55 kilometers of roads, and it includes Basse Mane Kunda all the way to Damfa Kunda Loop, the Basse roads, the inside roads, and all the roads that traverses all the way into the Woolies. And then we have 12 kilometers of roads stretching from Brikamaba, Boiram, Joben, to Welengara, Kejau, to Saruja. So that is lot 1, and which is 67 kilometers in the URR and the CRR South. Now, in the CRR North, we have lot 2 of the project, which includes the 11-kilometer Lamankoto, Bani, Yuna to Kunting, also 26 kilometers from Karantaba on the highway to Reneru, to Tabanani, to Demfai, to Njaga, to Fitufula. And then we also have 6 kilometers of the Njao Loop. And all in all, lot 2 is 43 kilometers. In the Lower River region, we have the famous Kabada loops, which we divided into loop 1 and 2. Loop 1 is 50.4 kilometers, and loop 2 is 51.6 kilometers. These are the roads that start from Kuinala going all the way to Medina Fulakunda, to Horaya, and then cross the Senegal, the road going to the border with Senegal, and then you go into the Jaras of the Kabadas, and then you reach all the way to the other end, which is about 51.6 kilometers. So in all, we are constructing 102 kilometers in the Kabada region of the Lower River region. In the West Coast region, here we divided West Coast into different lots. The first lot in the West Coast region is in the Fonyis. In Fonyi Bondali, we have a road there which is 1.7 kilometers linking Bondali to Bundakunda to Jorem Bundakunda. Then we have Sangajor to Dasilane, 6 kilometers, and we have Kalaji to Kamanka, Jorem Bunda to Bondali Jola, which is 9 kilometers, and we have Dasilame to Tintimba, which is 4 kilometers. Overall, we are doing 20.7 kilometers in the Fonyis. Lot 5, which is also within the West Coast region, we are doing the Farato Bojankunda to Buffalo to 4 kilometers. We are doing Sunchu to Welengara to Kunkujan Ketaya, 4.2 kilometers. We are doing Welengara to Abuko Abatwa, 3.7 kilometers. We are doing Lamen Babylon to Makumbaya, 6 kilometers. And Taboko to Abuko to Banjulunding, which is 4 kilometers. Lot 5 is 21.9 kilometers. Lot 6, within the West Coast region also, we are doing Mariama Kunda to Yuna, 11 kilometers. 3.7 kilometers from Old Yundum to Tauto, Darubusumbala to Sukuta Jambanjeli Highway. We are doing Jambur to Kunkuja Mariama to Tujareng, which is 11 kilometers. And we are also doing from Yuna going through Latria, you pass Jambur, going to Jalambang all the way to Brikama, which is 13.5 kilometers. And overall, Lot 6 is 39.2 kilometers. Still in the West Coast region, we are doing Jiboro to Som to Faraba Sutu, which is 13 kilometers. Brikama to Kasakunda to Nyofele to Gunjur, 16 kilometers. From Gunjur to Kunkujang to Jambanjeli, 10.2 kilometers. And Kachume Gunjur, Kunkujang Mariama to Sanyang, which is 13 kilometers. and this particular lot is 52.2 kilometers, all in the West Coast region. Still in the West Coast region, we have the Gunjur Highway to the beach side, 4.5 kilometers, and then we have Sanyang Highway to the beach side, which is 5 kilometers. Overall, out of the 365 kilometers, we are doing close to 192 kilometers in the West Coast region alone. So I guess West Coast is a big beneficiary of His Excellency President Adama Barrow's road projects and initiative. Honorable Minister, to continue with the body of the ministry's work, I have to say that in response to the ongoing challenges of road safety, because when we are building roads, we have also witnessed an increased accidents on our roads. So the ministry, in collaboration with the National Road Authority, the Gambia Transport Union, the Gambia Police Force, and other key stakeholders, have recently launched the Arrive Safe campaign to protect road users and pedestrians. The construction of these roads have opened up new socio-economic opportunities for communities in project impact areas. We have seen how communities now easily get access to markets, how businesses have opened in these areas, how electricity has now reached these communities, how social amenities have now been improved, how access to schools and other services have actually eased and enhanced thanks to these road projects across the Gambia. Within the overall mandate of the ministry also, we have the Gambia Ports Authority. And the government, I have to say, has stepped up efforts to address inherent challenges at the Gambia Ports Authority. We are happy to announce that for the first time in many years, congestion at the main port of Banjul has now significantly eased. Ship waiting time have reduced from more than 21 days in 2020 to less than 5 days today. This has resulted in reducing the cost of doing business in the Gambia, as shippers hardly experience demurrage charges due to the congestion in the past. The capacity constraints of the Gambia Ports Authority was compounded by increased volume, which was engendered by renewed confidence in the democratic market and also the domestic market as a result of the new democratic dispensation of His Excellency President Adama Barrow. Going forward, the government has emerged and engaged private sectors through a competitive PPP tender process, and negotiations are near closure for a port concession that will involve immediate capacity process and capacity improvements in Banjul and the construction of a new deep sea port in Sanyang. This will enhance the country's competitive advantage and position the Gambia to serve as a center of trade and logistics within the West Africa region. Part of the concession scope and the River Gambia Revitalization Project, the Gambia government is committed to the construction of inland ports and logistics platforms in Kaur and Bassi, the redeployment of the tourism attraction sites or the redevelopment of tourism attraction sites from Albreda to Bintang, to Kemoto, to Tendaba, and all the way to Fatoto. This will create economic regeneration in previously vibrant trading posts that have been neglected for decades now. With a view to addressing the rehabilitation, or with a view to addressing the public demand for improved ferry services, the government of the Gambia has recently successfully achieved the rehabilitation of the Kunta ferry, which has now been redeployed to service. This ferry is now plying the Banjul Bara crossing point within 20 minutes on average. The Kalilai ferry, launched since 2005, is currently slipped up at the Banjul shipyard for complete re-engineering works with replacement of all of its 4 engines, cooling and repulsion systems. These works are contracted to a Dutch company at X-Works 10 to 12 weeks delivery in addition to another 6 weeks for the installation and commissioning. The sustainable approach towards a more permanent solution to the provision of safer and more reliable ferry services, the government of the Gambia has already contracted Diamond Shipyards of the Netherlands for the design and build of 2 new solar-powered ferries to be delivered in 16 months from now. The Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. The recently concluded Banjul International Airport Improvement Project Phase 2 has ushered in significant infrastructure development at the Banjul International Airport, whilst improving operational capacity of the airport in anticipation of the projected increase in air transport demand. The passenger terminal, including the Banjul Terminal and the Air Traffic Control Tower, underwent significant facelift during this phase. Components of the phase included remodeling of the terminal building, upgrading of the water supply system at the Banjul International Airport, installation of additional conveyors belt system at the arrival hall, installation of ultra-modern check-in counters and belts, installation of X-rays and body scanning machines, including explosive detection systems, which are requirements for full International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO security facilitation compliance, installation of 2 complete lifts with fittings. One of the key benefits of the project is the fact that capacity of the airport has been increased to handle up to 500,000 passengers per annum, which represents a capacity increase of 43%. This will increase the capacity to handle up to 500,000 passengers in a peak hour, or 500 passengers in a peak hour. There is enhanced security at the airport as equipment such as X-rays and body scanning machines, including explosive detection systems, have been installed. This will improve the airport's compliance with security requirements and the country's strive to counter evolving threats posed by aviation or posed to aviation. A new conveyor belt has been added, whilst check-in counters have increased from 8 to 14. This will ensure that 5 different airlines are handled every 3 hours, while also enhancing efficiency in terms of turnaround times for operations at the airport. The size of the parking apron has been doubled to 150,000 square meters, increasing the aircraft parking capability of the airport. Overall, the Banjul International Airport continues to be modernized in the quest to attract and maintain more international carriers to operate in the Gambia, thereby realizing the national blueprint of transforming the Banjul International Airport as the hub in the region. Overall, the objective of the Gambia government is to make the Banjul International Airport a regional hub for air travel. Currently, government has successfully domesticated the Gambia-Senegal route, and we are now building on this milestone achievement by expanding it to other countries in West Africa. The strategic importance of this initiative is to reduce cost of travel in the sub-region, but also to make the Gambia a year-round attraction for tourism within the sub-region. The Gambia Maritime Administration, the GMA, is also one of the institutions under the ministry. And as part of its strategic mission, the Gambia Maritime Administration is recently engaged in its core mandate of ensuring safe and efficient shipping in clean waters. The Gambia Maritime Administration and stakeholders have already developed and validated the first ever comprehensive contingency plan relating to oil spills for the Gambia. The development of this document does not only put the Gambia on the road to preparedness in the event of oil spills, but also fulfills one of its obligations under the International Convention on Oil Pollution Preparedness, Response and Cooperation, OPRC 1990. The administration, through the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, is at an advanced stage to conclude a framework agreement with Summit Education Services for the establishment of a state-of-the-art maritime school to develop local capacity in the maritime sector. The school will run on partnership and is expected to deliver not only professional maritime courses, but also academic programs. The collaboration and partnership have the following potential impacts on the Gambia: local training of large number of Gambians across many maritime fields of study, reduction of cost of government and private spending on overseas training programs in maritime field, increased employability potentials of Gambians, revenue generation and direct employment, boosting the maritime sector, and also profile in the country. The GMA, which is the Gambia Maritime Administration, is also developing the Marine Spatial Plan for the Gambia. The administration is leading the process for the development of a Marine Spatial Plan for the country. Spatial plans will benefit the Gambia in the following ways: to address the conflict among users within maritime domain of the Gambia in key activities such as fishing, tourism, transportation, and conservation; to ensure investment in the Gambia's blue economy, and to promote conservation of marine resources and enhance growth. The Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure is also running a scholarship scheme. And the overall advantage of this is that as part of efforts to maintain highly trained, efficient, well-motivated workforce, the ministry has embarked on an ambitious capacity building initiative to train future marine, electrical and electronics, computer and aeronautic and civil engineers. The vision here is to ensure that the sector is well poised for the future development and expansion that is manned by a disciplined and highly capable workforce. I thank you all.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Honorable Ebrima Sillah, for that very comprehensive presentation. I think now it is clear to every Gambian what your ministry has been doing. You've named 4 places like Kiang West, places like Kabada, places like Nyen Sanjal, and other places. So I think what I'll do is I'll ask a few questions, and then I will open the floor for questions from the public. But before we go forward, if you have a question, if you are in the diaspora or at home watching, you can text 288-5885. It's on WhatsApp as well. If you are calling from the diaspora or you want to send a text, you have a question to ask the Ministry of Transport personnel here, you can send a text or make a call on 288-5885. If you are calling from diaspora, it's +220-288-5885. Thank you very much, Honorable Sillah. My first question will be, in total, how many kilometers of road has the Gambia government built under the leadership of His Excellency Adama Barrow across the country?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. If we are to quantify from 2017, when His Excellency President Adama Barrow came to office, we will see that, let's say we start in Banjul. In Banjul, we are currently constructing different roads, and this is in excess of nearly 45 kilometers. We have also initiated the construction of Battle Hardin 6-lane, which is 22 kilometers. We are building 50 kilometers of roads within the Greater Banjul area under the OIC project, or the just concluded Banjul OIC project. Then if you cross into the North Bank region, starting with the Nyomis, we are constructing about 87 kilometers of Hakala. Then, and this is in different parts of Nyomis, from Lower Nyomi, Upper Nyomi, going into all the way to Kuntaya. Then you cross that bridge into Kerawan. From Kerawan to Njawara is about 9 kilometers. And then you come to Badibu Salakenye, to Bani, to Njaba Kunda, which is also about 17 kilometers. Then you go straight into the Sabah Sanjals, Njien and Sabah Sanjals. That one is lot 1, where we have constructed about 51 kilometers. Then we have the lot 2 of the North Bank region. This is in the Salums, yeah, where, you know, from Kauru to other areas within the Salums, we have constructed and completely handed over the project, which is about 48 kilometers. Then you cross into the Jao area. We have a loop there that we are currently constructing. Construction is about 6 kilometers. And then from there you go to Karantaba, the famous Karantaba Mungo Park. Yeah? I mean, from Karantaba you go to Renoru, to Demfai, to Fitufula, which is about 26 kilometers, between 21 and 26. Offhand, I can't remember exactly. Then when you come to Lamenkoto, the back road that goes to Kunting, you pass Kujeu, then to Yona, and then to Kunting is about 16 kilometers. Then from Lamenkoto to Pasamas, all the way to the border, to the very end on the North Bank side, from Lamenkoto to Pasamas is 121 kilometers. And then from Boostown, Kelen Boostown, on Lamenkoto straight there, you pass Dobo, Kunting, to the crossing point in Bansang. That's about 6 kilometers. And then you come to URR, where we've done the 50 kilometers of URR roads and bridges. Now, if we also include the number of road maintenance and rehabilitation works that were done by NRA, if you go to Mansa Kunda, within Mansa Kunda itself, from Pakalindi going into Mansa Kunda, from Jarasoma going into Mansa Kunda, you'll see the new roads, you know, were done there by the NRA. We don't even count those ones yet, even though they should be. You know, it shows how serious we are with road construction. Then now the new roads, you know, we have within Basse, and then also from Basse into Danfakunda, from the Wuli Sutukonding going into Barakunda N in the Willis, and then you come back from that end into Basse, you go through the Manekunda loop going to Miliel, and then you cross the URR into the CRR where we are doing Burkama to Joram. That one is about 65 kilometers, that particular lot. Now, we jumped that end to come to the Lower River region. And we have to now include the Lower River region and the North Bank region because we have gone from the border with Senegal on the northern side all the way to the bridge and then cross the bridge, and from the bridge going all the way to Seneba. So that's what we call the Trans-Gambia corridor. I think it's about 14 kilometers, if I may be right, 14 kilometers. And then from there also, remember also we've done the rehabilitation of the Trans-Gambia, the Jarasoma Basse Highway within the Nyaminas going all the way into the URR. I think that was 38 kilometers. That was completely redone and resurfaced. Then we have the famous Kabada, where we are doing 103 kilometers. Then you come to Kiang West, where we are doing about 87 kilometers.
Since that we cannot finish. So I think we will spend the whole night here if you want to name all the roads that is excellent in building.
In average, we can see that from 2018 to now, if we cumulatively add all this, we can say that we have done in excess of 800 kilometers
brilliant.
Across the Gambia.
Thank you. Now, my final question before I go into the floor is that why is it important? Why has the government of the Gambia considered road construction to be an important focal point of its development policy?
Well, I'll answer part and I'll leave the rest to my peers. I had a discussion with the president because, you know, when I also came to the ministry, I asked him, why are you so much vested in road construction? And he said, for me, my priority is to ensure that the country is connected because without this, there is no development. And I think this is right because I have seen that in many of the unconnected communities where we build roads, before it used to be a nightmare to get access to these places, but also for trade to happen between these communities and the wider world. And they have been complaining of not only neglect, but threat to livelihoods, because sometimes we have had horrific stories of women giving birth on horse carts on very dilapidated roads. They had very big problems of accessing health facilities. And I heard also, I don't know whether this is true, but we went to some communities and they told us that before these roads were constructed, teachers were not even motivated to come to these places. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but it's true. Okay, the audience confirms. So I think the president is on a right trajectory. Talk is cheap. We do see a lot of complaints about why government is doing these roads, but the direct beneficiaries of these roads will always tell you that they are more than happy to be beneficiaries of this. Imagine being in a country since independence to now that you cannot have access to a basic facility like roads. When you produce your produce, you cannot even move these things out of your community. When you are sick, in some cases, you are likely going to die because you will not be able to access health facilities, especially during the rainy season. The horrific stories of women giving birth on horse carts, and then in some cases, I forget to say this story, I think in one of the areas in the North Bank, where a woman in labor was chased by wolves. And I think the horse itself was so panicked that it continued to run in high speed. And one can imagine the condition of the lady, the unfortunate lady in labor under that type of situation. So, Honorable Minister, if anybody tells you that roads are not important, because we hear people say this, they should not be our priority. anything about livelihood and enhancing livelihood and development in this country is very much dependent on infrastructure, particularly roads. Thank you.
I totally agree with you. I think, yes, Honorable PS.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for that very important question, and thank you to Honorable Sillah for, I think he did a good job of answering the question of why we need roads. Road infrastructure is very important because it's a catalyst for development. They always say that if you build a road to anywhere, that place will actually develop within a few years. I can attest to this because I can remember in 1996, growing up in Sukuta, where the road actually stopped. There was nothing between Sukuta going all the way towards Ghana Town and Burfoot. But today, if you go there, all these Bursubis and all these areas that are very developed is because the road actually came, and that's how development actually reached those areas. One thing about Gambia is that we have a lot of communities, but we have a lot of communities that are off the main roads. Because if you travel up country, you will realize that there's a lot of settlements that are not on the main roads, that are actually inside. And those communities, as the Honorable Minister has said, are actually isolated from a lot of services, be it school, be it markets, be it health centers. All these things, you need the roads to actually connect the people to the services. And by expanding our road network, it actually helps in the quality of life that Gambians are able to enjoy. And that is the main benefit, and also the economic development that comes with these roads. So I think that is very much the backbone of a country's development, is building roads. Thank you.
Is it on now? I have a question, but I think I'll skip that, because I have lots of questions coming in from the diaspora and also people watching from home. But before I go on to read those questions, I'd like to give the privilege to those here in the hall if they have any questions to ask. You can ask in isa nyinin kamani ka kawala fanang ni alafta surwa ka fanang kawo kamyalon ko wala diate do nyinin kano kanala. Yes, Honorable. Where's the mic? Well, but so if you have a question, say your name, where you are coming from, and then you can ask your question. Thank you.
My name is Karamo Al Hassan Kamara. I'm from Burfoot. I must first of all thank the Honorable Minister for giving a very good deliberation, telling us the various roads that they are constructing, in the country. Now you've said all, and there is high hope that there will be connectivity now, right from West Coast down to Willie. Now, but the most important thing here is market now, because the Gambia is a farming community, wherein majority of the people depend on farming. And you all know that our farming products are very perishable products. If you don't have a very good, market or very good routes, your goods are likely going to be perished very easily. Is government making any plans, to construct, standard markets? Standard markets I mean here is that markets with storage facilities and other things, so that farmers from different angles, they can be able to transport their goods to those markets and sell them, so that they will not become price takers but price makers, because most of our farmers are price takers, they are not price makers. And we have a lot of gluten in the market simply because they don't have storage facilities. Are you working on that?
All right, thank you very much. We'll take 3 questions at a time. And if we can make our questions short as well, that'll be good. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Sillah, for the deliberation. My name is Mamadou Jallo. I lived in Burfoot. I think what Honorable Minister have mentioned here in terms of the road network is a very important thing, because if I would remember somebody who had 3 destinations years back from Flabantan to Banjul, it takes you 2 days before you arrive. And I could also remember I grew up in Latria, where actually from Latria to Serekunda and Sukuta, it was something very difficult to get to Banjul or to go to work. But today, thank God, it has been really improved. And then this, the other destination, right now, I'm living in Burfoot. I could remember from my home to work at MRC, sometimes I cry, especially during the rainy season. So now I can just put my car, get on a new route, drive, within the next 15 minutes, I'm at MRC. So I think when it comes to development, when it comes to socio-economic connections, as the PS and the Minister rightly mentioned, this is fundamental. And we really appreciate this, and this is going to create more development. And then people who are also employed can be at their working department on time. So road network is an interconnections that really helps to connect the country together. Thank you.
Ya, assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Ndelamu Abbas Kiyera, Burfoot Tintinto. Honorable Minister, nge tentu nge jay nge numbara bake. Nyini karo fulale bembulu lafta nyini karo kala wala nkabo Burfoot kata Jabang wala Latiria. O silo nyi fabe programo kono bang, famantara programo kono. Alinka bo kundaru fulakunda kata Barajali kata Ebrima ba patu silo to milia lonko yo tundo fanan chokinyola bak ngo nyinin karo sotole kay nyinin kala be tentula be jayi lam kontanta bake ne excellency president Adama Barrow abaraka bake
yo abaraka bake abaraka nyinin karo be data. Honorable Minister, you and your team, we give you back the floor. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much to the audience for those questions. Regarding the building of markets to help farmers access or have access where they can actually sell their goods, one of the things that the ministry has been involved in since 2017 is the construction of big markets across the country. So for example, when the unfortunate disaster happened in Basse, the ministry actually led in the reconstruction of the market in Basse, and we actually built a state-of-the-art market there and expanded the facility that was previously destroyed. Likewise, we were involved in Brikama when unfortunately the fire incident also happened there. We actually helped to rebuild the Brikama market. At the ministry level, one of the things that we're actually responsible for is policy. And the policy creates the environment for which both public operators and private operators can actually flourish. One of the things that the minister made mention of is the National Public Building and Facilities Authority. Now, what this is trying to do is to create an agency that will help to facilitate the construction of government and public infrastructure across the country. So this is where they're collaborating with Ministry of Agriculture, collaborating with Ministry of Health, to make sure that when we actually build government buildings, and sometimes because there are some existing government buildings in areas like when you look at Mansa Kunda, Bangsan, and all these places that used to exist before, we're looking at how we can rehabilitate these locations to actually help to generate facilities where the economy can actually thrive. So by using some of these old government buildings and actually rehabilitating them, we can actually repurpose them for some of these things that we're talking about, whether it be, like I say, be for agriculture, and that's part of our decentralization policy. Because one of the things that has happened is that there's a lot of urbanization where a lot of people are moving from towns and villages to come and live in the Combos. But that's because those facilities and those opportunities are not being availed to them in those locations. So by helping to build these towns and these townships into what they were, it would help to create economical and socio-economical activities like those things that you made mention of. And that's part of the policy that we have now adopted as a government and is currently at the National Assembly for ratification. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. The other question about Burfoot Latria. Burfoot Latria Siloning, woman Tarani Sila project Dol Konom, Bemil Dada Kanting. Bari mbetembo minto Mansa Kunda be doku ke kan kota ke puru kasila kemesaba anin taworo ni lul sauver kota ke puri saje no nyamin ngol fana doku dati minna de marba do be nyobulo kono mi yalon ko is one of our multinational partners manta awol follow but mbetembo mente $4 million approved pour nga studies ke ka banko be kan kilometer kemesaba anin taworo ni lul asa keno ni wo studies on banta andu ye kibarol soto ye kayti ko soto asa keno se Mansa Kunda ma koy pour ka wosilol nyinkelo andu Mansa Kunda fa mata ko di jolaje ba wolna ta janne yaje president Adama Barrow be doku kendo minna andu yaje fana sila doku la nafa miniti inata ko saybe bulo dunna Mansa Kunda fe pour kaje ko ka doku ke wolmo de mar la ballati min yalon ko e ka bankol de ma sila doku wala yo kunta ursilo mi yalon ka bota kunta urfula kunda kata barjal nyani banko kan abe silo ko no mi yalon ko mbay mbe sauver la parce que National Road Authority lokum fula tambita nun niya kacalke nunga wo silo jejele mi yalon ko anyanta sauver la parce que niya jiben na nyin first phase of sila dokol min balaten silo bita keme sabanin taworo nyin ani lulu be mil doku kanten nyani mantara wol kono nga same soto jele nga salum soto nga jawo ma fa soto bari nyani mantara je so nga nyani silol jejele min yalon ko wol nyanta tarla projet o nyin kono pour na second phase of road construction projects baraka baki.
Thank you very much. Let me go to the diaspora and those calling from outside. I have loads of questions here. What I'll do is I'll just run them up at once and then you can just attempt to summarize the questions. The first one is, good evening, Mansa Kunda. I have a question for the Minister for Transport and Construction. When will the government construct Mandinari Road via Makumbaya to Brikama and Mandinari to Kunkujang Jataya, because these roads are horrible in condition? The next one is, good evening, thank you, Honorable, for coming out to people. It's a bold step towards transparency. My question is about the ferry Kanila. How far is the work done? And the new ferry company, hope you will give all necessary support. Hence, it's all about the development of the Gambia. Thank you, Mr. Fode Jane. Then we have, thank you, Honorable. My question is, are there any plans to bridge Banjul Bara? Secondly, did the government plan to expand the Lamen Mandinari Road for business purpose? The other one, thank you, Honorable Minister of Information, for this wonderful initiative. It's long overdue for the civilians to get closer to the government. We need timely information. When are you guys starting the road leading to Nemakunku? This is from Abla Sise Nemakunku. Then the other one, what is the plan of the government towards road network in Nyamina, particularly Nyamina West and Nyamina Dankunku? The other question, what are the plans for the Banjul Bara Bridge? That was asked already. The other question is asking about the road connecting Kuntaya to Kir Omar Sen. Then the other one is asking, what about the Sukuta Nema Highway? Then the Bakau Cape Point Bridge, someone is asking for that one. The other one is Cape Point Bridge. When shall the government of the Gambia, particularly the Ministry of Works, build the road from Wasu, Kuntaur through Barajali? These communities are suffering during the rainy season. Thank you. The other one is saying, I heard the minister talking about roads from Brikamaba via Velingara, Saruja, and then finally to Walikunda, crossing point to the north of CRR. But I haven't heard him talking about the road from Brikamaba to Tabanding, which passed through some major towns in CRR. And then the other question is, let me see, this road. Good evening, in Bakau, Sanchaba. We are waiting for you guys to look into Bakau. We need lots of construction. I'm so proud of the good the government is doing. The other question is, thank you indeed. Honorable Minister, permit me to find out when shall Sanyang Port extension begin, and also the road linking Gunjur and Jambanjeli, from Peter. The other question is, hope the Gambia is factoring the technological aspects of the new green ferry to make sure they take the youngsters to Damen to be trained and witness the starting building of the ferry to end of the building. And then the other one is asking, when are you going to have good roads in our village, Badibu, Kachang, North Bank? Yes. Okay, let me just skip, because there are a lot of questions. What is the fate of the road from Chairman by Dam to Fast Nyagachoy? Connecting, yes, okay, answer those ones. I mean, the questions are too much. All right, answer those ones. Then we'll go to the floor.
Yeah? Okay. Honorable Minister, I think we will divide it into the sectors. First, maybe we have the Gambia ferry services, the update on Kanilai, and also what plans are there to train young people on the technology that is to be deployed on the new green ferries. Then the MD for Gambia Ports Authority will answer the question relating to Sanyang Deep Sea Port, where we are. Then the MD for NRA will answer the plans for the bridging of Old Cape Point Road. And the other roads, the Banjul Bara, okay, and the other roads, maybe myself and my PS will handle those ones. So the Mandinaring Kunkujan Ketaya, I think this particular road we've been asked several times. So what we are doing right now, because we are doing the Farato Bojankunda, and then there is that loop there, which is about, I think, 6 kilometers, MD? 2 kilometers. So we have 2 kilometers there that we jump, and I'll explain why. Then we have Lameng to the highway there again. Now, you know, as you all know, we have this ECOWAS corridor project. And currently, the Gambia government has advanced into the feasibility studies of a bypass from Steel Corner that is expected to go through Mandinaring to Mandinaba to Siliti at the border with Senegal. And this particular stretch falls within that category or within that corridor. So we don't want to waste, government money. We do that road now, and then when the feasibility study is ready and then an alignment is done, it is likely that it is going to be a dual carriage or more. It can even be a 3-lane again. So in anticipation of this new state-of-the-art road that is going to be built, and it is going to be a toll road, we have jumped that particular stage. We did not do that one. That is why that one is still there. But the contractor on the stretch has agreed to actually do the laterite road for us, to level it, to make it motorable. And then if the new bypass comes, which we hope will likely come very soon, because we are waiting for the finalization of these feasibility studies, and then we mobilize funds, then that will actually solve all the problems on that corridor. So that is why that Mandinaring, Kunkujang, Jataya, that road, we are not doing anything there. And a lot of people are asking that question. I mean, we have been asked several times, so that is the explanation. The Banjul Bara Bridge, that one also, the pre-feasibility studies have started, and we are hopeful that by the end of October or thereabout, the pre-feasibility studies will be completed, and then a full-blown feasibility report, study may begin based on the outcome of the pre-feasibility report. So the issue of bridging the Banjul Bara is a critical priority for the government of the Gambia, and we are still committed to it, but it has to be informed by real studies to help us make a decision. Now, the Nyamina roads, I think the PS can confirm that we are already working on this. We are not even waiting for the 365 kilometers to come. Several people have approached the government, and we are looking at modes of financing this particular stretch. And overall, 60 kilometers are being earmarked within the Nyaminas and going into Upper Fuladu East, Upper Fuladu West. So we are already finalizing the first stage of the discussions. Hopefully very soon, if we agree on the terms of financing, then we'll issue a statement through your ministry to inform the general public, particularly people in that area, about the position of the government. Kier Umar Sen is part of the North Bank region. After Kuntaya, going north into Jokadu, we have the plans for this area. It's part of the NRS scoping. They have already mapped this particular area. The whole of Nyomis, I think, is about 170 kilometers. The whole of the Nyomis and Jokadu put together. And in the office, just at the beginning of this week, we were saying, why not take this big initiative to do all the roads in Nyomi, so that at least we can proudly say that for the first time in the history of this country, there is this particular region that the government has done all the roads. So, so Nyomi, really, Nyomi and Jokadu, the roads are not that many, and the Nyaminas. So really, we are committed to focus more on these areas in our next phase of the project. Bakau, yes, it's a growing metropolis, and President has made a very strong commitment that what he has initiated in Banjul, after finishing Banjul, he will move to KMC, and Bakau is part of the KMC. And this time, the novel idea that we have is we don't only want to do the roads, but we also want to include the drainage and also the sewage, so that we can deal with this perennial problem of sanitation in the urban area. P.S. I don't know whether Kunkujang Ketaya, Nona Kunku, yes, I think Sise is the MP. He has always asked these questions. Basically, I think for the roads, this is what we have. But I think PS, if you want to add more, because I know PS just resumed some 2 weeks ago, so he is now looking at the scoping of some of these roads that we want to do. Maybe he has some plans for the rural, not only the named areas, but the rural areas generally.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I think based on the questions being asked is a testimony to the success and the importance of constructing roads. I think what we have found is that given how we have been able to successfully build a lot of roads in the last 5 years, a lot of communities are now asking for roads. But also what we are doing at the moment is we're trying to survey the different settlements. Because like I explained, one of the problems that we have is that when you do a road, you have to design the alignment. Because sometimes you will actually want the road to pass through certain settlements, but other people will actually tell you, no, don't pass through this place, pass through our place. So this is sometimes what requires us to do surveys. NRA is involved in surveying up to almost 850 kilometers of roads, because this is something that will actually help us develop our master plan. And based on that, we can prioritize, because also we have constraints in terms of resources, because we can only focus on a specific amount of roads at a time. But what I can also say, just to add, on the Banjul-Bara Bridge, this has been very much a long-standing priority for the Ministry of Transport. Banjul-Bara is not just important to Gambia, it's important to ECOWAS. Banjul-Bara is part of the ECOWAS corridor from Dakar to Abidjan. We are currently involved in discussions with ECOWAS for the alignments to discuss how Banjul-Bara will connect, because it might be Banjul-Bara Bridge, but it doesn't necessarily have to be from Banjul to Bara. It could be coming from a different location. For example, whether it goes from Mandinari through to Bara, that can be a different alignment. So what I'm saying here is that we're discussing with ECOWAS how we align the bridge, so that when we build the bridge, ECOWAS also wants to expand this going to Senegal and then going all the way to Abidjan. So it becomes a highway that connects all the ECOWAS, well, most of the ECOWAS countries that are on that corridor. So just to help explain, that's why we're doing the pre-feasibility studies, but we are very much advanced in those activities. So maybe I can just pass it on to MD. For the signing.
Is it on?
You're off now. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think the question was about the... Thank you very much. I think the question was about the Sanyang port, the construction. Right now, we have closed out on the transaction negotiation in terms of the heads of terms. So, well, we have agreed with the investor on the major issues in the contract. So now the next stage is to go into a contract and a 6-month conditions precedent. When the contract becomes effective, it will take at least 12 to 16 months to do all the feasibility study, the design, and the survey and approval. Thereafter, it will take minimum of 18 months to do the construction. So we are looking at 2028 at the max to have the new port delivered in Sanyang. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you for that question on the Cape Point Bridge. But before I answer the question on Cape Point Bridge, I think I have to commend His Excellency the President for his love of road building. He shares a passion with me. Yesterday we launched the Arrive Safe campaign about battle hardening to ensure our people are safer on our roads. That's not only about battle hardening, but by extension, the whole country. While I was launching that, I had a sleepless night trying to find out some statistics about how well we are doing in terms of the roads we are building. Now, to compare road building in terms of how well a country is doing, as you would do in economics, you do per capita in terms of financial per capita of a country, per capita of a development of a country. There is something similar in road building as well, which is called per capita road area. So that demonstrates how many paved roads you've got per population of your country. Normally expressed as 100,000 per population per kilometer of paved roads. And we are doing better than countries like Ghana and Nigeria. And again, if you want to know the statistics, where that is coming from, for people who are interested in statistics, you may want to go to the World Health Organization Global Status Report 2023. That's where it is. So it's commendable that we are doing this, and we are comparing to countries which have a huge financial muscle better than us, Nigeria, Ghana, as I mentioned. Now, something people need to understand also, roads are a public good. Now, economists will understand this. It's a non-exclusive public good, which means if it is built, people use it. You cannot get any reward in terms of your investment on a road until you price it. That is a toll road. That is, people pay for using it. We don't have any in this country. So most of the roads we're building in this country is revenue funded. It's your tax. That's not the way to go forward because we don't have the capacity. It's a small country. What amount of tax do we have when building roads will cost us $23 million per kilometer of the very basic road, which is the double surface dressing, which is not good enough for an urban area. All the urban area is just asphalt or concrete. These are even more expensive to build. So really, the president should be commended for what he's doing. People don't understand this. We're not charging for our roads. So where are we getting revenue to build our roads? Nowhere. Now, the revenue for this country has different competing needs. Road building is one. There is agriculture. There is health. Yeah, there is school, education. So there's a competition. So really, the government is trying. We're struggling, but we're trying. So we have to appreciate that as a country. As I said, the statistics is out there. We're doing better in terms of the kilometer of roads we're building. And again, I looked at safety as well. Yes, we have a poor accident record. And we really need to improve this. Any other death on our roads is one too many. So we are here to improve that. And that's why we started the campaign yesterday. We apologize, that could have been done 2 months ago, but we were caught in other activities, including the OIC. So before I answer the question, I think we have to put this into context and hopefully people will understand better. There's a lot of demand. You have all this list of roads. How are you going to build it? You have to be realistic. Where is the money coming from? So government is trying. We are trying with our development partners, and we are hopeful there will be improvement. But people have to be patient and understand that roads are not like any other institution. We are funded by government, revenue funded, 100%. Until we start charging people for using our roads, we cannot generate revenue. I know a lot of you people also have controls in terms of mitigating and intervening in your road projects, in your communities. Community intervention, the rains are coming. We want to intervene. If we have money, we'll intervene in all your requests. But we are constrained. So bear with us. And road building also is a catalyst for development. It unlocks development potential. Now, some of the things that government could do to tap into that benefit is maybe to tax land value capture. That's what other countries are doing. You build a road, people's land values go up. Government is not getting anything from that. Those are the sort of things we should start thinking about. Now let me come to my question, which is Cape Point Bridge. There are 3 bridges. Normally bridges you go and investigate and look at their status. There are 3 bridges at the moment which are critical to us: Along Hare Bridge, Cape Point, and Kotu Bridge. There are 3 bridges. So at the moment, obviously, again, I did say, again, these are all revenue funded, so you need to look at the priority and the risks involved. And also, if we don't do this bridge, what is the cost to the economy? Kotu Bridge is serving a lot of hotels. It's critical, and it's in a poor state as well. So there is ongoing design for all these 3 bridges. From preliminary, you have to design these things before you build them. So there are designs that have been done, and we are prioritizing in terms of the one to implement first. Now, in terms of status of those 3 bridges, Cape Point is more critical, Kotu Bridge is more critical. And again, it serves a lot of important hotels, and it's the only bridge leading to these hotels. So we are prioritizing that, and as we speak, the detailed design on that is ongoing and almost complete, because you start with preliminary design. Detailed design is next stage to construction, and we are aligned to start that construction this year. We understand the tourism season starts around October, so we are trying to prioritize so we build this road before the tourism season starts. But again, as engineers, we have to have contingency plans. If we start there and it doesn't materialize, what is the alternative? So the alternative is to have an alternative access leading to the hotels, which are served through Kotu Bridge. And that's we've secured at the moment. And hopefully, even if we delay in constructing this, there will be an alternative access that they can use to get to these hotels. I hope I've answered your question, and thank you. I digressed a bit, but I thought it was important to have the context.
Thank you very much. I think we have one final question from ferries. We have 10 more minutes to go, so we can now make it short. Get short questions from the public, only 3. We get 2 questions from those sending text from home, and then we can round it up. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
think this one. Hello? Yeah, it's working. Good evening to everybody, and thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for this initiative. Regarding the question of Kanilai, I just want to give an update that the rehabilitation has already started. It was slipped about a week ago. The job involves scraping, replating, welding, and painting of all the body, just like what we did for Kunta Kinte. And also, but this one involves more work. We all know that Kanilai was launched in the 2005, so it has 19 years of age. So the work involves also re-engineering of all the 4 engines. That is what we intend doing. And the contract for the re-engineering and replacement of the cooling system will take between 10 and 12 weeks ex-works, and then another 6 weeks for the installation, commissioning of the engines. So 10 to 12 weeks for the re-engineering of all the 4 engines and the cooling system, and another 6 weeks of installation and commissioning of the engines. Then on top of that, we will also replace the propulsion systems. We all know that ferries do have engines for the main running of the ferry, for the main machines of the ferry, but also propulsion systems which propels the ferry. It makes the ferry to move. And the overall work would take not less than 5 months. It will take time. We want to ensure a safe crossing for everybody. And we want to assure everybody that once it is complete, just like the surprise that people have with Kunta Kinte at the moment, plying the river within 18 minutes, we assure everybody that it will take a similar time to cross with Kanilai Ferry once we are ready with it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll take 3 questions from the floor, and that will be it. We'll take one from the back. Okay, we'll start with Auntie Ami. Then we'll take all the questions, but let's make it short, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Good evening, everyone. Mine, I don't think should be a question. It's more of confirmation. Somebody asked what importance road has for us. I've spent 23 years plus 10 years, that's 34 years plying rural Gambia. I know what road means in development. You were talking about a woman on almost delivering. We had life experience of a woman from Sutukoba to Bajakunda. That is why when the Laminkoto Road was being inaugurated, I was so excited because I never thought that road will complete in my lifetime. So roads are very important in our development. It also ensures safety for young girls who will go to school from one community to the other, because now you'll have transportation. People will be using the vehicles rather than walking, and that is security for them. So these are very important. I just want to commend the ministry for this initiative. And I would also suggest next time Ministry of Transport compile the visuals of all these roads and projects you're doing. While you're talking, people will be seeing what is happening. I think this is important.
Let's go to the back and then come down. Quickly, please. We have only 6 minutes to end this program. So if you can make your questions as short as possible. 30 seconds, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. My name is Lamin Bojan from Burfoot. As a beneficiary from Burfoot, if you look around, you will see a good number of people from Burfoot. So that shows that how appreciative we are. I want to thank the ministry for the work they are doing. But just to save time, my question goes to the ministry for what is the plan from the ministry on the Battle Hardened Highway, on the access going on the highways, because coming from Burfoot through the Bursubi, if you want to join the highway down to Banjul, it's difficult. If you from the airport as well, I think there is 3 or 4 access junctions. So what are the plans from the ministry so that people can have access to the highway very easily? Thank you. But part 2 is here. I have a colleague around me who wants to ask another question. Thank you very much.
Yo ala baraka bake mbe minister kontona bake mfana modu jatalti burfoot mbe minister ya tentulamba ya ajayila bake mbe president tentulamba ajayila bake na silola malo na katro minke ko bogantelo to kata marseto ay afonye la afonye ana lafta la quality la nyami min karo minti wala min ni de burfoot ide birne silo afanito le ko bogantelo to kana sate wali ni muta Ghana town afanutale kana fo primary school bare kaboto kata kafuta Marcela aninka funti kata gamtano wali je de tabakele adum jele mosiat silo la sai so nim tol min be burfut ni ajibe silo karol bebe kala bitiko leti ni silo paret so nim moto fula lota dolo ta nyin kardola dolo ta nyin kardola ntella jero kaminje moto te kunna tema bawo enare be jang minister be jang mbali nyin kala munem solution oti woto yeah ala barka bake
we'll take okay, just make it quickly and then we'll come down. Ron, you'll give us 5 minutes. You'll give us 5 minutes. Quickly, please.
All right, thank you very much. I am Buba Emane, also a representative of the Bullfoot community. My question is in relation to safety and security. In other words, I wish to thank the Ministry, of course, and the President of the Republic for the initiative and the big step, the giant step he has taken in addressing access. But like, if you look at the security aspect of the road, in other words, the zebra crossing, traffic lights, speed limit signs, you know, across the country is a problem. When you drive at night in this country, you sometimes don't want to try it. 2 weeks back, I was coming from Kunting. Yes, please. Security, the security aspect, road access, you know, zebra crossing, traffic lights, whether they are part of the project, please. Thank you.
Who is it? Who is next?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Moli Cham from Sukuta. I think it's very fair. Sukuta for development and mentality of Purungafo. Bao Bunjuru Sai Alhamdulillah Bamano Jeka. Sukuta Dega select 8 lesoto from the present government. So funge thanks. Sukuta select 8 lefintitaji funge tentu nye jai. Secondly, the Women Federation Market number Sukuta. Ba Minister Njininkala Wena Bayelela and Impurmusol. Allah Baraka.
Assalamu alaikum. Mansa Kunda Ministerial Townhall. We are very, very happy. We are very, very happy. We are happy. Burfoot mantara mapo kon bar bin tol capital quadron kulo sa Burfoot. Kabar. Left question on ngala wala honorable minister, sorry, 60 seconds. Honorable minister, ntol ngasilo zolole bar na musol bin Burfoot sanchaba e ka piro ke silo reka. So bi ngajel sa inata silo kan bawo manu bijel, but ila life is at risk. So malum Ministry of Works ba marché ko banyadire anim farang nebol jone jobate ntol la firo ni yawza ali mago port social corporate responsibility.
Okay, abar. Can we answer quick? We have 2 minutes, please, to round this up, please. 2 minutes.
Yes, I will start. Okay. Sorry, let me just start quickly. Yeah, hello? Hello? Yes, just to, I know we don't have time, so I'll just quickly answer. Regarding the battle hardened, I just want to tell people that this road is actually being constructed in phases, because what people are actually seeing and trying to judge is not the completed road. This road we are actually building, we built phase 1 initially, and we are currently constructing phase 2. Phase 3 of the project involves doing the access roads. So this is similar to what you have in Jimpex, where you have the main highway, where you cannot have every connection being actually accessed on the highway.
But then you will have side roads which will actually facilitate the businesses that are on the road, but also to allow more connection. And that would be a design where you have a lower speed limit, because you cannot design a highway with 70 kilometers per hour and expect to have every junction connected onto the highway. And also in part of phase 2, we are looking at the pedestrian issue to make sure that the road is safe, so people can safely cross the highway itself. And in regards to the safety issue that was brought up across the region, the ministry, working with NRA, as we said, launched the Arrive Safe initiative. And one of the things we are now championing is to do road safety audits on the roads, to have independent people come and help and look at the road and also then make recommendations. Because when you look at road safety, there are 3 issues or factors as part of road safety. There is the behavior of the individuals, whether the driver or the person crossing the road in the wrong place. There is the issue of the vehicle, whether the vehicle should be on the road. And then there is the design of the road, whether the road is safe in terms of road markings and signs. And these are all 3 things that we are looking at the level of the ministry. For NRA.
Let's 30 seconds, please.
Okay, I should be at 30 seconds. But the money can all carry question of money can all detail. Can you karaoke go silo in doyatade in Brufuta, Mawara Efe, Alwaratade. Silo in Aswaratade, now bill yamming a silo bill Ibe Waratade. And really, motor phenomenon double park, like I follow double parking, ye park, Nisilo Pareta, Itokelano. We're parking clan of blood or little bit bente. But slowly water, okay?
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of this program. Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, you and your entire team. We appreciate this. And thank you to the audience. The ministry is a very critical ministry because it supervises and regulates both aviation, maritime, and also road networks, also build what they call civil works and those civil engineering work for the government. Thank you, we appreciate this. Until we come your way again, the end of June, we'll have the Ministry of Agriculture to discuss and prepare us for the farming season. Thank you very much to everyone. Thank you.